Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, October 1st, 2021, Friday. Quality, safety, health, and environment. Continuation of talk with quality systems and AnnexSL. And title of talk being for world, it is civil engineering, civil field engineering, engineering life related to it, engineers, quality issues, quality AnnexSL, SHE, designs, construction methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, why we behind quality of standard materials and systems, and of course, it is understood that this talk is oriented, this talk is focused on how to control fall in quality levels, how to upgrade quality that is witnessed, it's falling generally in particularly my country, Bharat, India, also in other countries as evidenced from here itself. Certificates which indicate status of someone, which indicates professional standards of individuals, which states that this is required quality SHE in works, in life. Not quality system. Maybe if we are capable, we can achieve quality. Actually, quality of product is ultimate requirement. That should be weighed. Signals do not help all time. That's a problem. But we have to continue with whatever source we have. It's really important that we have to work like this in some cases, but no problem. As far as it allows, we have to work. Engineering and life both are related, as I usually say. Yesterday I talked something about issues of quality which are ignored by general personnel in industries, in factories, in construction, everywhere. It's nothing new. Ignored at every level. Systems are available, but systems do work or don't work. We can't say. I can say there is a problem. Practical problem. We may accept that or we may accept that, that's different. But requirement is not met because it's required everywhere. Quality is required everywhere. And we are not getting it. When I talk to people like this on various forums, people don't even respond. Unfortunate it is. Those who are duty bound to teach people, to teach public, that we have to be serious about issues of quality, means we can be best teacher at least to let public know why quality is important. We have seen, you can say, thick volumes of documents in life, in every affair. We study at school level, at higher school level, at university level, institution level. This whole process comprises of building quality. We cannot simply say because we have to get degrees only, we study. Well, that is one part of life, but it is learning process. Degrees only indicate that someone has learned to some level, but what percentage has been learned, that is different. That depends on capacity of an individual, what level you can grasp in. Nobody is master, nobody is perfect, nobody is expert, you can say in that way. Everybody has, when you are a baby, some baby or student, mind is not fully developed, capacity is not fully generated. It depends on pleasure of student, or you can say compulsion of student to learn. Means it's a kind of you can say mandatory requirement. Oh, you have to pass this mark, you have to receive, or this standard you have to achieve. That becomes a focus, and there's a pressure, always remains a pressure from parents, from teachers. That pressure, because student is not clear about objective of education. And it's also made a point that because you don't go to school, you don't go to university, you don't achieve something, you won't get a job. Means job becomes a focus, job becomes a destiny. For purpose of education, you have to be management graduate, or you have to be engineering graduate, or you have to be bachelor of whatever field, or master, or whatever field, you cannot get a job and you cannot have good life. Means we have kept focus on job only. And now also job is important, economy is important. Means if you get a job, everybody thinks, your parent think, you think that my education has been successful. Otherwise it's not successful. Job has been made orientation. Okay, it's true at one point, but it's not actually fully true, absolutely true, you can say. In totality, it's not true. Purpose of professional education particularly is different. When we say person is professionally qualified, this means person is qualified for some application, for some practical aspect of life. It's not literature alone. It's not like poetry or story or 10 short stories, or we have some imagination we write on paper. It is something that builds life, that helps life to continue. That is what profession is. It may be medical profession, engineering profession, or whatever else. Profession means there is no end to learn. We learn from books, we learn from live experience, we learn for what we do, we learn from errors, and we learn from non-errors, means right work. Then we design ourselves, our future. We set our lines, we set our approach, we have to move on this path, and we generally call it plan. Plan, not engineering plan, but plan of life. You can have plan of every year, but that plan is itself a part of quality, because if we don't have any plan, we cannot set direction. It can be national plan, international plan, home plan, state plan, project plan. Plans, there are innumerable plans, and you can devise plans for yourself. There is no major problem in that. Plan is plan, life is life, and we have to understand this fact also. Life is not that easy as we can say it is. We have to understand this fact as well. Quality is required everywhere and in every activity in life and in engineering. And life is engineering based, which means that engineering is super life like medical. And you can read whatever is written on this screen. Means it's nothing very specific that I should all time tell you what we should do, what we should not do. It's required everywhere, safety, quality, and in construction, and energy, and ergonomics, and all that. We can just all time show for memory, for your conscious, that do not forget quality and safety. That is only a small purpose, focus, that we should remember always, because we forget, we are used to forgetting. And quality is merit actually. In fact, you say, what is quality? I should say, quality is what level of merit you have got in. Merit means something which is more than pass, more than approval. Or you can say, as high up you go in merit, that value you get in every field of life. When we study, merit is important. when we work, merit is important. In fact, it is a relative term, means when you compare two persons, both cannot be equal, both can have same level of brilliance, both cannot have same level of competence, both cannot have same level of performance. There should be some difference. That difference can be large, that difference can be small. There can be competitors, there can be level playing fields, all that we say. So when I say engineering, field engineering, I am particularly interested here in field engineering, and people misunderstand actually what is field. Field engineering doesn't mean site engineering. Let me be very clear here. When I say field engineering, means it's field of engineering. I mean, you have to talk of field, means in which engineering you are there. You have been engaged or you have been educated. I'm talking of that field, I'm not talking of site engineering. Site engineering is different. Every field in life, we say in which field you are working, or you may say in which discipline you are working, or we say actually it is a profession. Field is profession here. Field, I simply use this term because profession is difficult to be clearly understood by everybody. Field itself is more than profession, you may say. Law field, engineering field, medical field, science field, arts field, commerce field, general field. Then there are further developments in every field. So my field is public field. Civil means public. What do you mean by public? Public means everybody. And I'm talking of that requirement. It is also one of them, that is field engineering or site engineering. Site engineering is of course focused, but not directly. Engineering is not directly site engineering. Engineering starts with something, that's conception. It goes to something else at end, it is called delivery. So it's that long process of train. It's long train. Long train means it starts when you start studies, and it particularly starts in full scale when you join University of Engineering, Institution of Engineering you join, and then you say professional learning starts. We know that. But what is quality? Why do we want to discuss quality? That is major question. Quantity is not referred to because quantity exists. Quantity exists in work, it exists everywhere. We very well understand meaning of quantity, but quality is left. Everybody cannot understand quality because quality is specific. It is something which is required in quantity itself. If quantity is not included with, it is not made of integration of quality with that quantity does not mean anything. And that's why we are here to discuss about both issues, safety, health, environment, and quality. Quality exists in education, it should exist in profession, it should exist in every activity of life. That is where importance lies in. It is to be defined accordingly. We cannot define it in dreams. It is to be defined absolutely in fact, in factory, in industries, in production, in construction, what level of our requirements we achieve. If we achieve 100%, I think that is minimum requirement. If we achieve 95%, means there is a drop in quality, and if you go further down, there is further drop, and the stage comes when you don't even understand whether it is quality product or it is not quality product. So it may be production, it may be construction, it may be product or quantity or specification. Every issue is involved. I was talking about, you can say, this item, or you can say this page. I'm just putting off the certificates. About this page of AnnexSL, that is our focus for contracting work, construction contracting, or contracting for construction. I try to explain, though you know that, I am not saying engineers don't know that. But my focus is not to engineers alone. My focus is to public, because whatever we do, it's for public, one person or group of persons or whatever. When we say this project, a small project or major project, this project is for people. These people can be directly, or they can be through some institution or through some company or through some body or through government, through state. That is different. When we talk of quality system, we talk of public, what public desire, what public think they should get. That is what quality system means. Quality system is designed by certain institutions, and those institutions are responsible to generate something that can be conveniently, practically done, carried out. Something if you do under force, well, I think that's not better if people voluntarily do it. If I do something intentionally by my own intention, I would take full interest in that. If somebody forces me, no, you have to do that. In that force will not keep me happy, and I shall consider myself bound by that condition. And that's where I can say a problem lies in. Problem means in individual capacity. If you want to increase, one should be proactive. Why should I depend on system rules? My question to myself is, because we cannot move otherwise. Average people, average professional, average public, they cannot move alone on their own, average person. So they need some support, some guidance, which can help everyone, which can help society, which can help profession, which can have development. That's why systems are generated. Otherwise no need. There's no requisition, no requirement of system, no requirement of anything. But because something is to be uniformly done, some work is to be done in uniform guidance, minimum uniform guidance, and that system creation is very significant, and it depends on experience, it depends on merits and demerits, it depends on what is best for society, and that's why systems are generated. And some bodies do it certainly, some organization does it, recognized organization, trusted organization, and that one is standards organization, international standards organization. There can be some other also. It doesn't mean that you have to follow only this, but because there is some standard, there is some result, maybe not 100%, few percent is less, but quality can move, quality system can move, and that system of course directs that you get my results. But we should not forget, system is not completely mechanical, it's not machine system, it's not electronic system, it's systems for work done by individuals. Systems means group of individuals, well organized through some guides, through some requirement, or you can say structured system, organizational structure system, which they generally call is management or organization, whatever name we can give, it's different, it doesn't matter. What matters is what do we achieve, that is more important. What do we achieve by that? That is important. And if we can achieve what we think is right, I think that is best one. So when I say quality system, it's not necessary that you just blindly follow that. Principles are there, guide is there, but contemplation is yours. It's your contemplation. It's not contemplation of some principle, contemplation because you know what you are going to do. If I have some task, I know what I have to do. Conception is mine, but result is product. That product which would be used by others. It can be design, it can be material product, it can be process product, it can be whatever. It's not for me that I would use it, it's for people, it's for what's your customer. What is your customer? Who is your customer? It's for that. So we should understand that indirectly or directly, everybody works for someone else. Yes, cooking you do for yourself, that is true. You do not do for others until you are in cooking business. Same way, dress you wear is for you, it's not for others. But as far as your work is concerned, your work means which you sell, you make money, you get profit or you get salaries. That work has certain travel journey, and that is given to someone unknown or known, and that work means that person to whom you give, you design for that person's requirement. If your work does not meet those requirements, this means we can say that work is not exactly what it was meant for. There has been some error if it cannot meet those requirements. That point we have to understand, we have to learn that point, because that is important point. If we cannot understand this point, then I can say we make some mistakes, and that mistake is not acceptable. That is something we should avoid. I am explaining only to let a mutual understanding between what I think and what you think. I am not, boss, nothing. I am very normal person like you, but opinion expression is very important. I have to express my opinion. If you can listen to that, if you can make my audience and you can comment on that, or you can say no, it is wrong, this is not right way, this is right way, that is also right. You can tell me where I am wrong or where I can't clearly understand, and maybe I learn from you, possibly. It is profession. Everybody can learn from everybody, every other body. I can learn from you people. You can learn from my submission. It is not that we are students or teachers or professors. It is interactive study. We usually call in profession, this is communication based coordination study. That's why I use term communication and coordination. Communication is just a medium, a wire like, where coordination is work. Without coordination, work cannot be done. And if coordination fails, work cannot be completed correctly. We may say it is over, but it is defective. There may be some errors which could be set right if we discover at right time. And that error, if continues, means we cannot get what we intended to get. Our plan can fail, and that is very important point here. We have to make this point in our minds that everything we have to do should be clearly understood first. You know this. I'm not giving something very significant to you, that I am system to take care of achieving its sets objective. That's okay. Every organization has some systems. Even if there is no quality system, you have some system. Though it's beginning of this page, but no problem. I'm just referring to what it started from. Signals are 00, maybe it shuts down soon. I can't help it. What I say, an organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortably achieving its set objectives, which being in this case contracting journal. So we are talking of contracting journal, and I had reached a point. We did somewhere in class, so we talked of these points we were talking of. or stocking of special items, finishes, kitchens, doors, flooring, roofing, plastering, rendering. Yes, this is what we say. This is because I try to explain so that we understand what should be done. For example, I was talking of roofing. What is roofing? What is procedure of roofing? How can we do it, in a successful manner? How can we do roofing best? How can do plastering, rendering, flooring, doors, windows, ironmongery, kitchens, etc. These are all different, you can say, activities in our work. We do these activities all time we do, or sometimes we do. That is another point. But we conduct these activities. We conduct these activities, and without this, structures cannot be completed, buildings cannot be completed. That is also very important point. Roofing, how it is done, I explained. Plastering, rendering, flooring, differential flooring. Differential flooring means where junctions are available, how to handle those junctions. Say one side is mosaic floor or tiling, other side is timber floor or some other floor. What should be junction at door, what should be like this, we discuss. So that is another detail, but here we are talking only for purpose of understanding whatever activities we have to handle, we have to deal with. Same way, doors and windows we have to handle, ironmongery we have to handle. Now different varieties of doors, steel door, aluminium door, or blast door, or likewise there are so many categories depending on material available. Doors, people have stopped using timber door because of environment issue, because of trees issue. Then aluminium is of course in domination now. Windows, aluminum windows, aluminum doors, and same way you can say mongery. Now ironmongery I am saying, but everywhere it's not ironmongery. It can be everywhere, but nowadays because it's aluminum door, so aluminum mongery you may say, or you may say some other mongery. Then there are kitchens. Kitchen doesn't mean kitchen, shelf. Kitchen, when we talk, this talk means there are some units which are used in kitchen for purpose of conducting work in kitchen, and that is kitchen units. Various units are there. I'm just trying to tell you how we have to handle this. My purpose is not to define units. That's not purpose of this talk, but how to connect them, how to use them, how to do construction work for them. That's what we have to understand. We have to contemplate, means what is way. For example, in kitchen, sometimes it's big one, small one. So that is kitchen unit actually. Kitchen is a room, I'm not talking of that. There's always a floor drain, a sink in kitchen, sink or bench of sinks, and floor drain, water supply is given, drainage of waste pipe, waste water is allowed. Means there are some treatments in kitchen or in wet areas, usually toilets, bathrooms we can say. These are similar type of areas where traps are provided, you can say drainage is done, disposal of sewage is done. It's sometimes like that, and we have to provide waterproof areas for this. These areas are generally called wet areas where water is linked to, not dry areas like bedroom or like drawing room, or you can say some other area. Toilet, bathroom, people call washroom, some call bathroom, some call toilet, some call by whatever name. So these are all references, means how we have to carry out, how we have to contemplate quality of that, ventilation of that, entry of that, or you can say extract fans in that. Whatever ventilation is done, whatever system is done, means that has to be considered direction wise, natural wise. Try to get best one. So wet areas and kitchens and finishes, of course. Finishes, flooring itself is finishes, plastering, rendering itself is a part of finishes, and there are so many decorated items which are called part of finishes. You can say finishes are unlimited. For example, roofing itself is a finish, but is a structured item also because of many reasons. But here we are talking of finishes, wall finishes, ceiling finishes, false ceiling finishes, skirting, or you can say external works. There are so many finishing items. Finishes itself are categorized, and there are so many finishing items in buildings, in other structures, and we have to, of course, define quality requirement for every item. That's why I listed here. This now, because this is construction I'm talking, so these items are involved in buildings as well as in other you can say types of structures, in types of units. Finishes are unlimited. You have to learn a lot. It's itself is a big issue. It doesn't matter, means there are items only we have to understand. We have to define what we are going to do, and it depends on experience as well as it depends on, you can say, data sheet of manufacturers. We can say manufacturers material it is. These are particular, you can say, kind of proprietary material, because those who are experts manufacture, they design some metal for, and they take responsibility of those. So it depends upon, we can extract methods from there to understand how to do them, and we have to comply with those instructions. That's a part of profession itself. It's not that because I'm an engineer I have to require sources, I can say, extract information from all those. So that is where finishing is, and finishing structure cannot be that many items. In a structure, quantity is more, work is more, activity is more, but in finishes, everything is ready-made access application. Whatever materials we get from market, for whatever item, installation or fixing only is a major issue. Otherwise, we get duly manufactured items. We get false ceiling, duly manufactured, just you can say hanging it, installation, and also you get ceramic tiles or other tiles which you have to install only, or fix only. Then you can say whatever items are ready-made available in market. For example, ceramic units, kitchen sink, wash basin, toilet items, or whatsoever else. These are, every item. What is your scope in that? Your scope is fixing, installing, not like structural work where you have to do everything like a manufacturer. There's a difference. You are given 80% to 85% in material cost, and that remaining one, maybe 20%, maybe 50%, that goes to installation. So their quality, you are given material quality already done, which you have to accept which one, or your owner has to accept which one you want to install. So this is for finishes and all those items which are done post structure. Special items are also there, very well. Maybe epoxy is a special item, or you can say waterproofing is a special item if it is manufactured one. Maybe it is not ordinary one. Likewise, you have to do everything. Means there are special items in every sub-disciplines. In buildings, in structures, you have to deal with them and you have to learn, because these are so many in your, even if it was a part of your syllabus in university, you would not have learned that, because it's enormous. We have to get this point. Special items means special study, special requirement. Manufacturing, chemical manufacturing, chemicals, construction chemicals, other items which are never done. You can say there are so many items, and it depends on project. It depends on what you are doing. So you can say special items are. Then you can say testing and commissioning, design estimated quantities. Now testing and commissioning is last stage of every construction project. Civil, mechanical, electrical, whatever project is, that's testing and commissioning. It's a title, gross title, but it includes so many other subtitles like pre-commissioning, then many approaches towards that. And testing is done also in between, during progress of work, and that you can say we call it testing phase 1, or you may say fix 1. We generally used to call, when I was younger, fix 1, fix 2, services fix 1, fix 2, and then testing final. So testing stage 1, testing is stage 2, and then final testing. What are talking of? Final testing, based on which we can say this system is approved, system as a whole in that building, not item wise, means in this portion, in that portion. That is total test is done. Test for total system is done, and it should be successful, and we can say we have done this portion or this system. And testing and commissioning is therefore at end of all services. It's not that we are going to test structures, it's generally for services. Structure test is continuous. We test cubes, we test slump, we test temperature of concrete, we test if there is a problem, we have to resort to core testing, or we have to resort to load testing. That depends. So testing and commissioning is also one of continuous process on structures or projects, and at end also, and is final one. So testing and commissioning is a different job where all disciplines are involved, particularly civil, electrical and mechanical are very much involved, and depending on type of activity, others too are involved. So we go then to other items like design, estimated quantities. Then we have different types of drawings, which can be set information drawings, approved for construction drawings, as-built drawings, working drawings, shop drawings, building permit drawings, likewise, and there are revised designs as well, and many other points. So here important is that before you can say taking independent decisions, every engineer should be clear about that. And you learn only when you are in field, but now information is available on internet. Otherwise also people deal with, we can raise these points if we are not clear, and somebody certainly would answer before. But because I have faced all these in our career, so we should understand that this is a part of learning. What is design? What is design drawing? What is construction drawing? What is working drawing? What is shop drawing? What are all other types of drawings? And are all documents drawings? That's also an issue. All documents are drawing for me, because when I say drawing, it doesn't mean plan or elevation. When you draw something, it's called drawing. So drawing means you have all documents can be called drawings. Contract drawings, contract documents, I take same way. And for me, specification writing, specification materials also amount to same design. It's a part of design, not structural design, but project design. Then we have to understand at design time itself, what shall be quantity. If designer keeps in mind, because budget should be known when you design. You cannot design, you cannot expand some area undue. You cannot expand something if you don't have budget for that. Yes, for future we can say, but for budget, whatever we have, whatever money owner is interested to spend on that, we have to keep that factor in mind, that we have this limitation. If we go beyond that, we may face problem. This point is very, very important to understand, that we cannot take it for granted that everything is available. Suppose you design for 3 times budget, this won't work. So we have some knowledge. We must have some knowledge that when you design, means shall we be able to do that, or we are only designing for sake of designing. Means we should have clear concept. What is future of this project? Shall it be able to do? Shall we be able to do? Or what is honor? So estimated quantities tell us how much you spend on that, because we have idea, approximate idea of unit cost of every item. how much 1 cubic meter of concrete would cost. It can be taken, you can say, as a measuring unit, because if you say it's very well advanced project, it's a project where all items are there, complete services are there, HVAC is required, electrical, everything is required there, every activity is required there, every support is required there. It depends very much on this. Signals, again, cheating. I don't know what is the reason behind 00 and 00. Audio is 0, video is 0, but it is showing 17 FPS. I'm just trying to tell you what's quality of these signals here. No continuation, 27 kbps only, 2 FPS. In 0 it was 13 FPS, now 614 kbps. So it varies. So what to do? It's beyond my control. So when I'm saying this means we have to consider quantity. You may say that, keep in mind, don't plan structure more than its expected expenses. Because if finishes are not done to all what work you do, you don't have proper budget. Budget is not easy, and it is job of engineer to understand budget, to devise budget. When you monthly spend money in your home, that is very limited budget. That is of course detailed budget. So you are doing details here also. Budget is not a matter of non-technical, it's a technical matter, because it is related to technical activities. We only know what is component of that construction, what are its ingredients of every item, and proportion quantities we know, and that quantity can tell us what is your expenses of that. Generally I have seen on internet or otherwise that people use thumb rules in costing, thumb rules in designing. Well, I don't understand what is meaning of thumb rule, because rule is rule. It's not thumb rule or finger rule. I did also without quantities some bids, but I experienced that time that we should not be in hurry for costing. Costing should be based on quantities. I think that's part of quality in costing. Then do not just estimate for sake of estimation. We have to estimate reality or near reality. We also know that quantification is voluminous exercise. It takes time and it takes efforts. This means it also costs. Quantification also costs our staff, our quantity surveyors, engineers. But that cost, if you compare to cost of project, it's very, very limited. And it gives a clear conception in forms of BOQ, we call bill of quantities, though it's not that level of document which can be given priority, but it's very important one. It's very significant one when you have to handle with lump sum fixed price contracts. Means quantification actually is very important from every viewpoint. We can anticipate volume of work, volume of structure, volume of formwork, volume of all other materials that are going to be used in quantity terms. And we can know many other things. We can schedule out our quantity based program or schedule, and it's not that we have to lump it. No need of lumping quantities. If there are 10 elements in one project, 10 buildings in one project, or you can say 10 different areas in that project, we have to individually produce BOQ of each, bill of quantity of each. And bill of quantity is, of course, there are set items. Every structure, every area may have different types of items or may have same types of items. We should not say, no, I will take only one BOQ. One BOQ would also do, but one BOQ is limited. If I suggest we should have BOQ for every area. It may be building, it may be some other area, it may be landscape, external work, internal work. Likewise, we can say we start with something, then go to excavation work or foundation works, then go to above foundation work. Likewise, we can take every item into consideration. It may cost few pages, but these pages are, going to return to you something better, something good. And there may be 5 BOQs, there may be 10 BOQs for one project, there may be 20 BOQs. It depends on size of project. It doesn't matter, because it helps in many cases. I'm just trying to explain how can we formalize quality system. Suppose there are 10 buildings or 10 BOQs in one project, and you are going to give whole project to one party. There's no harm in that. Or you can give to each project to one party. There's also no harm in that. That is your decision, your prerogative. But when you say, I am going to give this whole project to someone, or whatever your scheme is, then there is always option in that contract that some work can be added or some work can be omitted from your scope of work, because a scope of work is defined in every contract. If a scope of work is not defined, that contract is little defective. And that scope of work is defined in a clear manner, in descriptive form, and each building has maybe different scope of work. We have to define area-wise also. At least it should cover all scope as much as possible. I'm not saying you write specifications there, no. We have to define titles of work. The specifications are separate, that's completely technical. Here we are talking contractual requirement, contractual mandate, what we have to do. So that if we decide and we work on BOQ, it may cost some time, but it shall give clear idea. And by chance you don't have money in future, you had planned for 10 areas, and you said, no, 3 areas I cannot do as an honor, I leave it for future. When we have funds, we will do it. Only 7 areas or whatever number of areas you want to do. Keeping in view contractual requirement, contractual conditions, what contracts agreed with that contractor. And that contractor also should not suffer because of contracting cost, contracting price. Maybe that contract depended on those areas which you are going to omit. So that means in that case you have to, of course, have a word with that party. We are going to do this way, omit these items this time, or in later times we will do it. For this contract we are going to stop here. So if that happens and both parties agrees, then question comes in, because your whole price is one fixed price. So how can you delete that portion, or how can you add that portion if something is to be added? Both are there, and that is only answer from BOQs, because we agree on BOQs also that these prices we would use for items if it's required. Those items are very much important when scrutinized. This means based on that BOQ, we can say this BOQ amount is this BOQ amount is this, and all these amounts are from each BOQ are collected to one final BOQ, final list. So if we want to omit some items because there is already an agreement, we can apply these rates to this contract, so that BOQ can be removed or can be deleted. No payment can be made for this because that is currently out of scope. That is main purpose of BOQ here. Pricing means already say that area is defined in terms of cost and budget, in contract cost, contract price. So we can deduct that contract price from payment, or we cannot include that price. So it helps that way without any you can say dispute between employer and contractor. That's purpose of BOQ, which is individual BOQ, individual area BOQ, and that BOQ is very important from, of course, practically disputes resolution viewpoints. And when you say BOQ, means it's not ordinary BOQ, it's cumbersome BOQ. It covers every item. It can also happen that you are going to do all areas, but you don't want some items to be included currently because of some reason. So you can remove those items from your calculations, or you can say, okay, we are not going to use these items now, so whatever cost of these items is, we can deduct from this bill of quantities amount, BOQ for last item, that is total sum of that BOQ, and you can take out and deduct that from contract price. But it depends on contractor's objection or contractor's approval, because contractor's interest is also profit. Maybe you are not concerned with that, but you have no right to impact on profit of contractor. That point also must be kept in mind. How to resolve, that's different. But because it's contract, it's interest of contractor also. Like you have interest in that, contractor also got some interest in that. So we have to understand this point, that estimated quantities are very important. And you may say estimated quantity or worked out quantity, practically both are possibly useful. You can, when you have reliable BOQ, or even if you prepared it yourself, that reliable BOQ, the guide means total quantity of concrete is this, total quantity of steel reinforcement is this, which are very important currently to run project. And then we can quantify all other quantities for purpose of placing order. Here RMC we order, so it's not total purpose, but depending on actual requirement we get from there throughout currency of project. That's very important point. Maybe everybody cannot conceive this, but that's important one. Maybe you people have gone through some project which has one BOQ. I prefer each area, each building, each structure, or it should be well defined if it can be. If there are such drawings that you have no relation to other building or adjacent area, though practically it is important, but quantity wise we calculate separate and we produce separate bill of quantities. That is very important point from understanding, and that's the reason that I have given here in this list. This is testing commissioning, design estimated quantities, issued for information drawings, issued for building permit drawings, issued for construction drawings, and revised designs. Now, these items are not new. Maybe in 90% people know, but my purpose is not to, just to refresh, just to reflect. Our objective is quality, top. Each stage, each item, each element here that is listed or more can be added, or if it's not relevant can be ignored also. We have to keep in mind all this. Means there is some drawing, for example, it's information drawing only. It will give you just an idea of what we are going to construct. That idea is given to you by consultant, because by that time consultant is not ready finally. Maybe design is in process, but indicative information is available. What happens? People do not consider title, they issue working on that, and that's wrong. When drawing is only for information, it's for some other reason, that you should know what we are going to do. And then there's another drawing which is called building permit drawing. Building permit means where the area is regulated by laws, means you can use these bylaws for that. That building permit is in regulated areas it's mandatory. If you don't get building permit, you cannot work. It's kind of license, you can say, kind of license for couple of years, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on the rules. And you have to get that permit. That's called building permit. To permission from state, if it's regulated area, that you can build, you can construct your plan, we allow you, and whatever specifications you are showing on your drawings or else, these must be implemented. That is purpose of building permit, and there's validity of that within so many months or years. You have to inform us in informal way and get another certificate, which is usually called occupation certificate, based on declaration of completion by owner and professionals. So we can say there are so many kind of such drawings. Building permit requires submitted drawings, then issued for construction drawings, which is you can say sea of drawings. If I don't have approved drawings for construction, I would not move on construction, but I'll keep myself to planning only, because drawings which are used for building permit also is a part of planning. We have to plan based on that. We have some other drawings also, key plan or location plan or some other informative designs. Likewise, we understand what's going to happen, but real drawings based on which we do work, it's called construction drawings, are issued for construction work, or we also call them approved for construction, and those drawings are very significant. There can be errors in information drawings, there can be errors in building permit drawings, there can be errors elsewhere, but when issue comes, title of construction comes in, means engineer authorizes you, designer authorizes you, owner authorizes you that you use these drawings for purpose of construction, and also you use those specifications which are meant for those activities. The specifications are all given as a part of contract document, and these are very important one. If you cannot apply specifications, you cannot work according to quality requirements. Quality requirement means specification requirement and drawings requirement. That construction drawing is very important, and we engineers should try to differentiate among these drawings. Differentiation does not mean dispute between two, but what we have to follow, what we have to not to follow. Both are there. Without construction drawings, we cannot construct, and without design information, we cannot design. We have to see what is requirement and how can we fulfill that requirement. All these points are very significant from engineering viewpoint, engineering construction viewpoint. Many times, due to lack of information, we make mistakes. It happens, lack of information, but there is always a pressure from management, organization, or from others, stakeholders, that we want early delivery of this project. And early delivery means panic, because in construction, panic does not work. We should have normalcy in environment where construction is done. That normalcy state is very much required. We have to understand that point very, very clearly, that normalcy is very much required in construction engineering. In design engineering as well, if we do not know scope of work, how can designer design? Just think on. No designer can design if scope of work is not clear. That point is nothing new. We have to know what is clear, what's not clear. We cannot design unlimited. We have to fix a line here, that this building is building permit requirement is based on that. There is limit on that, and we have to keep that point only in mind. So what I say, all these drawings have their relevance, and that relevance is work. That relevance is what is title of this building, what is its land use, and what is the scope means how much we can go in this. Of course, stage by stage everybody understands, but when you deal with quality system, you have to know everything about that. If not in complete elaboration, to some extent we should understand. Otherwise, it becomes a problem. And when someone is site-oriented engineer who has to work on site, that person must know about specifications, what specifications they are going to follow, and they should understand clearly. Of course, maybe everybody cannot read the specifications, cannot understand what's written, but it is also clear that it should be there. That document should be there. We cannot leave something to be done without document. And document should be clear vision document, what is required, and that should be approved by organization for whom you are working. You may say Prime Minister, you may say political leaders who are working for that. That must be very clear. So construction drawings are very significant one, and then revised designs. There are changes always, we know, many changes, because everybody cannot imagine what shall be done at time of design, what shall be its views. But when people practically, by you can say eyes, see what's going on, in that case they don't find what they thought. So they start saying, oh, I want to see this here, I want to see that here. And they talk, they have interactions with owner or other stakeholders, and then try to see what is actually required. And of course there are certain fluctuations, not major one but certain. During review we find that it's better to avoid this, or likewise. Revised design means designs based on changes of requirements. Designs based on changes of requirement. It's also very significant, we can say very significant. We cannot do without that. It's really important. We have to understand that point. Design requirement, possibly. And it is an interesting one. I can say really interesting if you have some good idea of that. Life is life, work is work, specification is specification, quality is quality, and engineer is engineer. I respect, believe me, I respect those engineers who are honest, who are analytical, who dedicate to work, who devote to work, who are not just money oriented, who are, you can say, better in every respect. I respect those engineers, and they must be respected because of this reason. It's an important one. Engineering is not easy. It is not difficult also. Both, I can say. Engineering is interesting one. Really, it is interesting one. If you take it in that way, if you take it in that count, how is engineering? That is really astonishing. We can say engineering is really entertaining also, because once you have good interest in engineering, you understand basics of engineering, you may say you are great. You are great in that case. You know everything is fine. Just a minute please. Everything is fine, and everything should be fine because it is engineering, and we should respect that. Engineering, it's no joke. It's a requirement. It's a requirement, and it's beautiful. I just actually shifted from that sheet. That's fine, little distance. So just a minute, please. I'm just shifting. I just want to see another point here. If I can like that one. I'm just shifting here to see another sheet because of disturbance in signals. So I am in another sheet. Just okay, I'm in other seat now. Okay, sorry, I just shifted to that place here. The seat, better light is better light. So, my dear, what I was saying is here. Oh, again, videos are zero signals. I thought it's better. Well, so my statement is little here that we should respect engineering, and not only engineering but also engineer, because without engineer being efficient, without engineer has clear conception, we cannot produce quality. Producing quality, I don't know what has happened to society, what has happened to world. Quality is not that difficult. It's very easy because we devise it, nobody else. We ourselves devise, engineers devise it, they define it, and they have to achieve it. It's not means law that decides. It's not some court that decides. It's not parliament that decides. We decide ourselves. When we decide something ourselves, means we have to follow it, that's it. And it should be taught. Unfortunately, this teaching quality is not taught in institutions of education. It should be learned in field, and it should be learned seriously, because money is spent. Money is spent on quality system, money is spent on work, and we use materials that nature gives us. We should differently think it, Think it differently. When we say we revise, no problem. You revise, but keep in mind, you keep everything intact. You can revise everything, but before it is done, not to damage it. Nature gives us particularly construction materials. You can say rocks, stones, sand, dust, water, steel. Of course, it comes from nature. Everything comes from nature. We have no right to destroy. That's the reason quality is significant, very, very significant to be achieved. And if we cannot achieve it, there should be question, why did we fail? But who shall check it? First, checking responsibility lies with that engineer who works on project. It's not quality engineer. It is that person who originates that work. I can say site person who works on site, who reads designs, drawings, arranges materials, arranges workers, arranges machines, arranges all requirements, and works on site layout, works on everything, and then does certain item, all items. That person, that professional, you can say first professional. In construction, that person is first one who actually can change entire scenario. If that person works fine, if that person understands everything rightly and implement that rightly, that is what is required. That is what is required. And if that person does not understand rightly, it can be question mark. Quality person comes second. Then another person can be called consultant, another level. Then can be third party. But main is that engineer who can be called site person, site engineer, contractor's engineer, whatever can you call. Whole your design, whole your planning, whole activities involved lie on shoulders of that person. And that person is also not alone. That person is part of group. Is a key personnel on site, is a leader of workers and worker staffs, and that person's direction changes entire scenario. We have to keep this point in mind. Entire scenario is changed when that person works. Really important it is. If that person is well trained, that person understands well all documents. I don't say that person has to go through each and every word. Requirement is to be understood. Documents can be read any time, whatever time, during currency of contract. It's not necessary you go through all designs in one day. But you have to write what you have to do. That is basic requirement. It's not notes, no. You have to write what you are going to do. Try to get my point. You have to write, and not only write, you have to explain to everyone who cannot read writing, who needs elaborate explanation. And that communication is very important. It can be directly to workers, and if there's a problem, then you have intermediate staff, which is called foreman, supervisor, whosoever. You explain to them, they must understand. If one foreman, one supervisor cannot understand what you say, this means that foreman or supervisor is not to that mark which is required on site. By experience itself, they can understand. You talk in their language, you talk in English, whatever is convenient for both, and that requirement must be known to them. Even if it has to be demonstrated, it should be demonstrated. See, to achieve quality, I am stressing because it is not easy to do. It's not easy to achieve. We have to achieve it. Our problem is in quality systems only. And we have created this everywhere, unfortunately. Now, I cannot say any country is quality one. I cannot say. We respect countries not because of quality systems. We respect because of their power, economic power, weapon power, dominance. They are respected because of those capacities, not because they are excellent in construction, they are excellent in quality, and we are also one of them. Yes, I have walked in various countries of Middle East or Gulf, and I find different level of working everywhere, but some seriousness existed there. Of course, with varying natures, depending on various involvement of various nationalities on each project. And of course, force, you are required to do according to contract. You are required to do according to technical requirement, according to engineering requirement. And that's why I say quality is integrated there. It was integrated. But still, we jump a lot, we talk a lot, but we don't stand. We don't stand. There could be whatever reason. I do not enter into details of those reasons, but I say there should be national requirement. We are a big nation. We are a reputed nation, not because of politicians, but because of professionals. Every country knows, our country, that we are helpful, we are intellectuals, we understand very well. Same people who do not work here on quality requirements, they work in Gulf, they work in Middle East, they work in other countries. How? Why? Because they are allowed to work as such. If you talk to them, they respect materials. Those people, they do not like that material should be abused. To whatever knowledge they have, they want to apply that knowledge. They want to apply that knowledge, and that is what is required. Application of knowledge. If you apply knowledge or information, whatever you have, whatever solutions you have, if you apply that, that's what I'm saying is required. Quality is not miraculous. It's like food, what we eat. You want to take food. Can you take bad quality food? My question is, if you are given to drink tea, if tea's ingredients are not according to your taste, shall you be able to drink that tea? You have some desire to take tea or coffee to some ingredients proportion, and if it's not given to you, you shall not drink it. I don't like it. You drink water. If there is some, we say it should be tasteless, it should be colorless. If there is some taste, shall you happily or comfortably drink that? Same applies to your vegetable, your other food items, other dishes. This means if it is not according to your desire, it's not cooked according to your desire, it's not prepared according to your desire, you shall not take it. Because there you feel as human, but building doesn't feel. That's the difference. Building is not having any soul, work is not having soul, and we put soul into that. Soul means performance capacity. When structure is completed, building is completed, it is to be used, and it can be used only when it is completed properly. If it's not completed properly, it shall not be perfect, it shall not work to that expectation as we felt it should be. That's why just trying to explain that every nation has national level explanations, national level specifications, or you can say, here we are talking of, you may say something like Euro codes or other international codes which have some requirements, local requirements, and we place in those codes our requirements because those are left blank for consideration of locality of every nation. And those are national annexes, we call it, and also we call it nationally determined parameters, which is part of, you can say, Euro codes defined like that. And then we also publish documents, and likewise, these are of course related to quality because codes are also a part of quality requirement, because codes are followed in design, these are also to be followed in constructions and in material selection and also in various other sectors. So what I mean to say is this clause 3 is very wide. It requires us, means as I say, items are many in this. I just want to contemplate again on this. As a control references with authorities, statutes and laws, contract with honor or fiduciary book, etc., etc. Then documents, personal, engineers, personal contractors, personal workforce, DPRs, we call daily progress reports, memos to contractor, technical clarification, engineering clarification, contractual clarification, subcontractors, nominated contractors, site instruction, engineers instructions, request for inspection, journal items, concrete reports and non-compliance reports, material approval request, then drawing approval request, subcontracts approval request, temporary works, preparatory works, permanent works, construction method statements, standard working designs or details, quality management statements including checklists and ITPs, safety management organization documents including safety induction, training, upkeep and surveillance, fire prevention and suppression, you can say supporting executive references, excavation, soil testing on site, soil improvements, blinding, concrete protection, waterproofing below ground and above ground, cast in situ concrete, formwork, reinforcement fabrication, reinforcement placement, precast pre-stressed concrete if included, concrete glass, reinforcement grade, soil backfill, piping, concrete blockwork, roofing, plastering, rendering, flooring, doors, windows, ironmongery, kitchens, wet areas, finishes, special items, testing and commissioning, design estimated quantities, issued for information drawings, issued for building permit drawings, issued for construction drawing, revised designs, national annexes, nationally determined parameters, published documents, and all other necessary definitions. That was what I thought. Means this is not final. This is just few of requirements. So we have gone through clause 1, clause 2, clause 3. Now we have to contemplate on clause 4. Clause 4, that is context of organization. Context of organization. About organization we are going to talk. Which organization is, what it does, in which what is included is understanding organization and its context, understanding needs and expectation of parties, determining scope of organization or management system and managerial systems. And then there are points of consideration. Why is organization there? Right? That's a point of contemplation, consideration. Why organization is there? Identify internal and external issue that impact intended outcome, interested parties and their requirements, define scope and set boundaries of management system, raise employees awareness and involvement. This is very small, but we have to understand after all what we say. We start with some document to understand something. Project document, we can say the project has not started, but our thinking project has started. When we talk of organization and as a part of expression, as a part of expression of project, can say this portion to be included in AnnexSL template. AnnexSL template. Project charter says project charter considerations for each bid. Project charter consideration for each bid. What is project charter? What is project charter? We as a contracting building construction organization, we as a contracting building construction organization to maintain each project track, work out a charter related to every bid, and therefore that charter continues if bid turns to award as contract. We are talking about an initial document which may be used in future or may not be used. A kind of, you can say, empowerment to ourselves about this bid or future project. We are a builders company, construction company, organization, and we must keep ourselves quite conscious. We start something, and that something should be clear. We cannot blindly jump into some project without understanding what we are going to do, without questioning ourselves of can we do that? Can we compete? Likewise, we can say, so here we say, we have to understand our competency first. I'm not saying which license do we have, that's not I'm talking. I'm talking of our competency, technical competency, commercial competency, managerial competency, or you can say whatever is required. Project charter consideration it is for each bid in capacity as contractor, each project it should be. So we as contracting building construction organization to maintain building construction organization to maintain each project track record, work out a charter related to every bid, and thereafter that charter continues if bid turns to become an award as contract. This is not an ordinary document. This charter is not an ordinary one, but it is managing or organizing document. It's document compiled by board or designed by board. There are so many leaders, board comprising leaders and senior consultants as well. Complete details related to, you can say, this charter is not an ordinary one, but managing or management board comprising leaders and senior constitutes complete details related to bid and post-bid of project matters. It starts working on from effective day when talk of bid commences, with considering all relevant points, whether or not this bid can be made as an objective for organizational progress, or it may be a prestigious progress to raise organization status. Economical financial, technical, you can say economical, financial, technical, past records, profits, possible risks, company business, policy, current workload, etc., are all brought into charter's consideration, leading to resolve and adopt or make a final decision whether or not to go for this bid or else close this charter at this stage so that bid documents could be successfully returned to owner or engineer with regret and thanks for giving an opportunity for consideration or for considering at this stage for this project. After all, we are a company, we have responsibility, we have business, we are occupied, we are leading also. So what we have to see? We have to see first of all our status, our standing at that time. Means we cannot blindly take whatever we wish. If our credits don't allow it. We have credits, economical or financial, technical, all these points, past records, you can say credentials, as I said, past records, or our profits issues, because profit is also a part of promotion. If we don't have profit, and we are not organizing charity here, we are organizing to help someone. So, possible risks, our business, our policy, our current workload. We have to keep all that into our consideration before thinking to get more projects. We cannot have anxiety, I'm going to get this project. Okay, if you get it, are you going to do that successfully? Or we have to be patient to know that this is not for us because we are already busy. These points we have to consider in all respect. The verse says, etc., workload, etc., are all brought into charter's consideration, leading to resolve or to adopt or make a final decision whether or not to go for this bid or else close this charter at this stage so that bid documents could be successfully returned to owner or engineer, as case may be. So it's a big consideration at start itself. If I'm not able to handle this project, why should unnecessary earn headaches? It's my smooth working, it's my efficiency if I deliver other projects which I am having in hands. If I take more complications, more problems, and I am not able to solve previous problems, I cannot say that this is my credibility. Because new work I may not be able to do that fast as I am already having other works. So it is sense, you can say, if sense prevails, you have to keep a factor in mind. Project which you are going to bid for, it will take some time, or maybe it has to be started immediately. This evaluation is very important. And generally, contractors are clear about these issues because they often deal with departments, they deal with government, and they deal with others, corporate, and they know what would be approximate cost of this bid or this project, and this may start in this period. And if we think that, if we elaborately discuss and we find that by that time this project is awarded, we shall be free to some extent, and we can cope us with this project at current strength or with some more recruitment. Well, I say in that case, we must move forward to consider something. Otherwise, it's waste of time, and maybe that project not come under my scope of expertise, and that's another point. If my expertise is not that much, then why should I worry about that? Everybody cannot take all projects, that's true. And reputation is also very important, we have to think of. If it's a contract I can't deliver during required time, then you can say I invite problems. Therefore, it's a big decision. It's easy to say we got this project, but it's not easy to say we deliver this project. Delivery means it's a lot of work. It's not so easy. Had it been so easy, why these people, why these governments, departments, and others not do themselves? Why to rely on or depend on contractors? That point is very essential to understand. It's not easily understood by everybody, and that becomes a problem. So here points are very clear. We have to consider our finances, our economical requirement, whether we are having enough projects for moving or we need some support, more support, and then you can say technicalities, our records, our expected profits, or you can say what may be risks. Shall we be caught by risks, or we shall be able to solve these risks? Then what is our policy? You cannot unlimitedly expand your organization also, because without future knowledge, without having any surety what we are going to do, it's not easy to move on contract. Contract is not easy term. It means agreement. It means binding. It's binding. We have to deal with that. Keep this factor in mind always. Binding is very important. No binding means it's a problem. So we have to be very careful when we use such terms. Binding, no binding, this factor, that factor. So this point that we are taking into our consideration, maybe every staff member, every director, or those who are bound, they may not be active in this, but you have to report everything. So we have to start charters of every bid. Charter, I am saying, this doesn't mean titles to be charter. This means expression of consideration. We are considering this bid, and due to these reasons, we are interested to continue this bid, or due to this reason, whatever reasons being, we don't think that it's right time to get more involvement in projects until we get ease on our existing projects. You cannot augment resources unlimited because of various reasons. Resources are limited, and you cannot do everything according to your wish. If you don't have open money with you, money is a constraint. Money for project is a constraint. And commercial groups like contractorship, they have no interest in all this. All are interested in making money, making profit. So this point of charter is very important, and first step you can say. And if we say that if we consider that this charter acts as a master professional, this charter acts as a master professional organization document for prosecution and execution of project during post-award and thereafter, since it contains complete details including provided budget for implementation. Point to understand it is, I repeat, this project charter acts as a master tool, master professional document for managing, organizing and prosecution along with execution of project during post-award and thereafter, since it contains complete details including provided budget for implementation. So we have this charter as a reference, future reference, and not only future reference, updating every time whatever development we receive, we have to update this charter with every new reference or every new activity which we follow. We have started with, that is what this charter is. You can say this is empowerment of this project. If we get this, we have to discipline ourselves this way. Then we can say we have this charter, we have this document, this guides us. If we move further, we have to make a decision whether or not to go for this, because we do not believe in randomly taken decisions. We do not believe in randomly taken decisions on projects. Bidding, but adequate detailed consideration and analysis are conducted. But adequate detailed consideration and analysis are conducted prior to clearance is given to whatever bid be under charter consideration, which decision our organization considers professional approach. Brief para, but very directive, very much directive here, that we have to clear out, we have to understand. I'm sorry that I have to stand sometimes for 1 minute or 2 minutes for stretching myself. That's also very important point. So I read again, this organization or my organization or our organization or your organization, I can say, does not believe in randomly taking decisions. In randomly taken decisions means illogical decisions on projects. Bidding itself is a project. Maybe for me it's a project because I'm bidding or you're bidding. For you it's a project. It's a part of project, you can say. It's a part of construction project or part of total project. But adequate detailed consideration and analysis are conducted prior to clearance is given to whatever bid, be under charter consideration, which decision organization considers professionally. We have discussed all time analysis, thinking, detailing, all points we consider all time. Win system, which we say quality system, in this file we always stress on that. Means what is quality, what's its requirement, how we do, what accept, what not to accept. It may be manufacturing or industry, but we have to understand to do for production, for construction. Everywhere we can say how we have to move. Then we can move all the. I will say, ask yourself, how shall you act in these situations, and what's way out or what's no way out. Then we say about security, surety, and safety, quality, both. We can say that. Of course, engineers must realize quality facts. We can say change is required everywhere, and for us bid is also a change because we are going to develop. It can develop or we can lose also. And then all quality aspects, and ultimately we can see that. Says construction based on reasonable coordinated constructible quality, design standards HE. And for us, this is also a kind of coordination that we are considering this build or not considering this build. Because time, cost are valuable for us. Risks we have to understand. And reliability factor we have to see. Whereas analysis is a professional activity. Analysis, and then you can say thinking and concentration. Thinking and concentration along with analysis are very significant work areas for our contracting system or even design system, because design is also a part of contract, service contract. We are talking of construction contract here, and same can also be EPC where design is included, which we will deal later on. We are doing exclusive construction product because once we have to understand basics, we cannot mix up everything at the same time. So we have says that thinking and concentrations are very important. We have to think and concentrate on every aspect of bid. I mean not to say that act like a kid, but think in right direction. That you want to be in their hands without power, or work is your orientation, you want to do job. And if you have to do job means it's a serious issue. So the contract you have to do, and contract means seriousness. You cannot come off of contract eliminating all these contract conditions. So contract is not easy because you have to deliver. Contract means delivery of performance. And there are so many conditions in every contract. And these conditions are very significant to be complied with or to be penalized with. If I don't deliver project in time, then I shall face problems. And that problem is, first is loss, money loss. I have to pay in terms of liquidated damages. And maybe next time I won't be invited for this issue. Really, you have to understand these points, thinking and concentration. And before this, you can say thinking and concentration and analysis. These points are very significant. Then we have to go to, again, same page as we discussed. I don't know to talk undue, that's also true, but I talk, again I don't know how it is lengthened. Again, it's length goes on and on, and I really forget what I'm doing. Put on light again. So, my dear friends, I think some of you may be happy with such kind of discussion, but I think it's requirement. Sometimes I notice that engineering fraternity, engineering fraternity doesn't take interest in such issues, but they complain also again. They complain. You see, engineering does not mean designs only. It is delivery. It's work delivery. And work means it is conception, it is design, it is processing or construction and delivery. Otherwise, there is no engineering. You cannot independently stay on one of these. You have to move everywhere, or you have to move through someone else everywhere. Designers generally move on their projects through someone else. And that's fact, that you design and deliver to someone, and someone else will work in field for this project. So we can say designer's mind, designer's dream is transformed to physical activity, physical delivery by those people who may not be good in designs, but they may be good in construction. Both should have common line link, and if that link is established, that link works perfectly all right. In that case, we can say it's a kind of coordinated link. Coordination it's called. Link between two, through communication, through conferences, video conferences, through drawings, through specifications, through interactions, through clarifications, through removal of ambiguities, and of course interaction on how to do something best. Though every person on field on projects deals with consultants or designers, rarely. That should not happen. We say we have to analyze everything. Who can analyze? Point is that. Who can analyze? Only that person in construction who understands total scope, who understands what contract is, because it's also difficult. We should not forget that contract is not a piece of paper alone. Don't think that's just a piece of paper. It is written, if not in office, it's written in mind of every designer, every constructor. Something is written that must be honored, that must be covered up. That writing cannot be taken for granted. It's only written, who bothers? That approach cannot work. It's only something we have to do. No. It has to be done. We have to take it very seriously. I learnt it. I did not understand contract before. what contract is. And many people don't understand. It is another fact. Many people do not understand meaning of contract, but they work on contracts. They work on salaries, but that's on contract. We have to really understand what is contract first. Before we move into depth of quality, safety, you can say designs, if you understand how we have to move with common sense and the capability of fun, well, I think all get something. We don't repent, we think that it's God to do, and maybe God likes it. So here is what I mean, analysis of what we have to do on contracts is instant, easy, not difficult. It's up to ourselves. Some people think only forces are analyzed in theory of structure. No, that's also not true. Yes, forces are analyzed. Forces are analyzed and we then do designs basis of that, based on that analysis. But here is structured analysis. Our own analysis, can we afford this project? Or can we win this project? If we win, can you do this project? Because contract means binding. We say this contract is binding on both employer and contractor. And if it's binding document, it's not document only that is bound. Contract is bound by honor. It's binding means it's rope, you are roped in. Not only roped in, chain roped in, steel chain is binding you with this contract. And you have to come after binding only when you complete this project, you test and commission this project, and it is successfully delivered. At that time you can say you are partly liberated. So we have to understand this analysis, that synthesis, and that contemporary thinking on projects. That's what purpose of charter is. That is what purpose of organization is. That it's not happiness always that you got some project. If by error you get it, by calculation error, I have seen many companies who faced ultimately lockdown, who faced ultimately lock because of losing on contracts. Contract is that kind of dream where you can expand yourself or you can destroy yourself as well. If you do not care properly and you just in the mood that I want to promote business, and if you promote business at cost of your future, well, I think that business is harmful. So we have to conduct each and every point. It may not take more than 2 or 3 days or 1 day, or it depends what is your efficiency of extracting from contract. So before we give clearance in that charter, your board or whoever is organization head, before it's given clearance for smooth implementation, and of course that you can say kind of virtual execution statement you think of you can do, that shall become part of contract later on, because we are going to submit with bid your execution method and construction methods. Many these methods I'll take later on here in this, but I've already started doing that. So we can say our organization does not believe in randomly taking decisions on projects, bidding, but adequate detailed considerations and analysis conducted prior to clearance is given to whatever bid be under charter consideration, which decision organization considers professional approach. Then we have to come to another point, that is points raised by each member during brainstorming session and all other analytical sessions are duly minuted on charter for future reference. Explanations, reasons, why or why not, both. If we take what's losses and if you don't take what's benefit, or losses and benefit on both ends can be easily constituted. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all when we take calculated decisions, and that is called calculated decision to get bid or not to do it. It's important one. We go on further, means decision is difficult to make, but once we decide, we have to do it. Contracting is difficult if we cannot deliver. If we cannot deliver, if we cannot fulfill agreed conditions or standard conditions, if you do not believe in that, you cannot do what you have to do. The same applies to everyone. Sometimes we are lost, sometimes we are not lost, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we don't. I still remember 2 cases in my life. I was not involved in that, but that company was. It was, I think, 1987 or something, some year like that. In one bid, one item was missed. Big item was missed. It's a lump sum contract. They got reduced price, lowest price. And they were very happy that we got this price. But other prices had long gap, about 20 million reals. How can there be a gap of 20 millions? Means it was a big question at that time, area. What is this? So much difference. No, something wrong. So that company discovered that one electrical cabling item was lost. I think some other item was missed. It was a difference of about 20 million. That company started sleepless nights, what to do. Means a wrong tender has gone. Wrong tender. What's way out? If this work is awarded, you will be trapped. If you are awarded this project, you shall become trapped. Do you want to be trapped? There are so many such points we consider. Means there are the one also in which that bidder forgot one electrical cabling item, and that's very expensive. Means it happens. They were penalized. I don't know, without referring to something, how they can include. We go to organization now. Says that organization, and we can start here. I'll go back in 5 minutes and come down also. It is an existing registered grade, whatever grade, it's existing registered grade contracting organization in this state or other state or nation or whatever, that is just reference. This organization is commercially registered under statute, competent statute, and authority of National Chamber of Commerce or under Companies Registration Act. Whatever is applicable, chartered accountant can tell you very well. I'm just writing for sake of information how contracts can be constituted. You can say we are a leading organization. Every organization says that we are a leading organization in building construction. All will say that. Now, what level we are leading, that is different, but we are leading. Our statement is, our contention is, we are leading and we consider ourselves that much. No problem. You are welcome if you are leading. Time would tell us if you are leading or you are not leading. You can declare you are leading. That's no harm, because you have to promote yourself. You have to verify yourself that you are a leading organization in construction in general and having adequate experience in relevant disciplines, having adequate experience in relevant disciplines, including all allied services expertise. So we agree with that. We agree with that. Meanwhile, you read this. I'm coming back. So I'm back here, no problem. It's okay. Let's consider everything again. Now, I had to go up actually, I came now. So, I was talking about you can say construction in general and having adequate experience in relevant field. Construction in general and having adequate experience in relevant disciplines, including all allied services expertise. Our pinpoint is that we should be expert in construction to get construction experience, and we should be ready to accept those contracts where we can deliver. In that, we may say this will be building construction or it can be something else. I understand, particularly in those projects which are having mega status, where you can say excessive quantity of concrete is used. It can be millions in cubic meters. Excessive work is done, say backfill and site preparations, or where you can say work is of enormous quantity. Enormous quantity. We have to deal with those situations. It's not simply building, it's every field there. If you take example of some facilities, some plants, you have buildings, you have underground utilities, you have blast buildings, non-blast buildings, you have streets, you have roads, you have steel buildings, you have heavy foundations, you have water supply for machines, cooling system, you have return. Well, I think you have fire protection arrangement, loss prevention arrangement. There is no discipline, you can say security. There is no discipline that can be left or that can be considered not included. Such type of projects cannot be done by every ordinary contractor. There are persons in this market who are only for buildings, who can do buildings of all kinds. Buildings like institutional buildings, residential buildings, commercial buildings, who can do buildings only. And there are some contractors who are experts in infrastructure works only, or you can say works below ground level, piping work, or you may say there are contractors who can do specialist works like flyovers, roads. You may say there are various types of expertise or specialist activities of projects. It depends on which your organization is interested in. If you are interested in every work is fine. I have seen companies who have various divisions. These contracting companies have various divisions. It says building work division, pipeline division, road work division, and they have varying systems in those days. Now it's no different except that we have computerized system everywhere. But work remains same. Activities remain same. Ideals remain same. Objectives remain same. Means results are same. There can be added facilities, services, security system, IT system, many more systems that have been added to services of buildings. That is tenable, that is acceptable, because technology moves on and on. For example, we arrange for IT system like raised floors. We have to, and so many other requirements we have to do. Means security system, SCADA system, CCTV system. All these are known, and these are further going to be augmented by new systems. And mobile is very common now, it's like a toy, everybody has it. So we can say technology keeps on moving, and in correspondence to that, expertise also keeps on moving. So we can say that we have to think first. Of course, we can take those items, those disciplines which are not ours, but that is common. It is business. We have to rely on some other vendor, to whom we may call our specialist vendor, we may call our sub vendor, we may call subcontractor, or whatever we call it. Means it's question of responsibility. Even if we allow subcontract, of course, duly approved, then first responsibility is ours, not of that party, because it's our contract we are going to sign, and we may act as general contractor, or certainly leading contractor. You can say general contractor means we have all these items we can do: construction, building, concrete, all this walling, external works, services works, everything where we can do. It's question of responsibility. Again, I'm saying liability and responsibility. And liability is more risky, because if we fail in our disposing of our responsibilities, then we are cost-wise liable. Financially, we are liable. It's not simple quality, then you can say. It's a question of liability. We can be imposed with damages, that's called liquidated damages. And of course, with many other provisions, if contract has got in and we agreed. And that's why I say contract term is not easy. It's really difficult. Both if it's a design contract or it's a construction contract, liabilities are to be shared then. If contracting company is unable, due to whatever reason, deliver works in time or to deliver works, provided there is no fault on part of owner or no fault on part of design engineer, then contractor has to share all losses. If employer faces, or if employer earns those losses, means liability issue, then whatever you thought you will get profit on this project, and you have to face multiple losses. And that's what I say, seriousness must be considered. Seriousness must be exercised on such contracts, because contract means you have to move, you have to deliver. It's not only happiness you have to deliver, you have to receive happiness, but you have to receive this sadness also. And this loss can give you permanent loss. This loss can give you loss which you never expected. Therefore, we have to be very, very serious. And it's not employer itself who can be serious. It's key personnel as well. I can say we are all that. Engineers are all key personnel in contracting as well as in EPC. I mean to say EPC contracting, EPC work. We have to take responsibility. Ultimately, we are responsible, keeping abreast our title or post. Everybody has certain responsibility, and that responsibility is very, very high profile responsibility. We cannot just ignore it at one point or other point. So what it says, list of our quality oriented and value added delivered products. List of our quality oriented and value added delivered products is enclosed, has been enclosed as annex. When you bid, you have to see that, with credentials won from various clients. This does not give anything specific to honor or to a person who scrutinizes your bid, It gives an idea of your reliability. Your considered reliability, considered efficiency, that assurance comes from that credential, if that is true. Of course, it should be true. You are a businessman, you are not applying for job. It's business that you are applying for. And it is trusted also, that your credentials. Of course, everyone has a right, that engineer, that owner has every right to verify your credentials. Generally, it doesn't happen because every contractor is known in market. It's not if we call from shopkeeper, e-commerce contractor. It those who are in contracting for many, many years, and generally they are well known in whatever market they work. So it is known sometimes that this credential says something, it should be true. Well, for clarification, some inquiry can be made, and for that, no contractor or bidder can mind. So we can verify whether that work done by this contractor, that can be known from records, and as far as quality is concerned, you have every right to know about that. If contractor proclaims some achievement, of course that should be achievement. And records can also tell whether it's a quality performing contractor or it doesn't care for quality, or whether this contractor meets your level of quality requirements. So this attachment which we submit, credential attachment, has certain certainty, you can say, certain meaning. It doesn't matter that we have to worry about which client it is. Should worry about what work it is. That's more important. When you have good relations, certificates can be achieved. I'm not very much serious about that, but your work can tell you level of seriousness, and I'm concerned with that level of seriousness. I'm not happy if you just talk politically, polite, you talk about your approaches. No, I'm not interested in that. If I'm an engineer and I go in some bid, I will just go through direct. First of all, yes, it's your credential, I respect. Then I should try to get information, even by questioning. It doesn't matter. If I don't want to go to that project, I can raise questions on that credential itself. Can you give us more information in terms of your calculations, or in terms of your doing work? Quantity of concrete, for example, quantity of steel, and what you can ask for their credentials, like what approach did you adopt on prosecution? It was just experience, or you had some formal system of achieving something, and that can be part of submission as well. If it is for the submission, you can go through that document, which is essential. And it doesn't mean you go through all pages, all means just superficial. We can go and see, yes, he says this, it's possible that on this project this quantity was available, and yes, some credentials are available, some records are available about quality, that can also be accepted. So you can say we have consistent and competent team of competent professionals from all required engineering disciplines with a strength extract this much, then professional engineers ... chartered engineers ... and other degrees with a supporting engineering strength of so many engineers, providing supporting dedicated teams for buildings, related site works, engineering, execution, and prosecution for getting best, possible product, best possible product, works, deliveries related to RCC buildings and allied structures, we can say, and infrastructures, including landscape architecture. So what we said, we have to declare ourselves, and we declare that we have this potential. We can say we have so many such category of engineers, we have so many such category of certified engineers, or we may say internationally or nationally recognized engineers in these capacities, and they are kind of products on themselves. And if required, these can be presented for interview. If requirement, say these are on roles, and we have this much strength, which statements proves, or you can say if doesn't prove, it establishes capacity of potential of organization. And if you have so many engineers, they must have some works, must have some competency, and they can, after meeting them or having interaction with them, it can be known what level they are, from whatever nationality, it doesn't matter. And we can say that we have this pool of knowledge, and this is strength of our capacity, as well as if we have a strength of capacity, we can move forward. We can move forward on to achieve some objectives quantitatively as well as qualitatively. This is very important one. In some contracts, I have seen that you should have this level of professional engineers or chartered engineers for this certification or that certification. This is in international contracts, you will find such terminology, not in local contracts. And that's what say allied services, buildings, we can construct, taken care of allied services, infrastructures, and including landscape and all others, architectures, you can say. Then it says that what we do, we intend to help public. Of course, when you do contracting, it is indirect help also for development, and we can say that we intend to help public avail benefits of best technical know-how, right? We say that we intend to help public avail benefits of best technical know-how regarding construction of buildings, RCC buildings or others, either directly to owner of building or to professional architect. We can say that. We can say that, and we can depend on that. Intend to help public avail benefits of best technical know-how regarding construction of RCC buildings, either directly to owner of building or to professional architect appointed by building owner, or to end user, or to all stakeholders as case may be. So this paragraph is also very important. Purpose of our contracting organization means we help state or we help world, because we work worldwide or we work in this region, but we have planned for other reasons that can be included as corroborative requirements of our intention or our future or what we can do, and as much as we can do, that builds up our capacity. So we can say intent to help public. Public means not only here public, it can be public of any place. Intent to help public avail benefits of best technical knowledge, technical know-how regarding construction of buildings, RC buildings or others, either directly to owner of building or to professional architects appointed by builder or building owner, or to end user, or to all stakeholders as case could be or maybe. Organization is very small or medium or large, whatever, that is your classification. Organization is of this category, and large group of technocrats it may be, but with high level profile backup. High level profile backup of engineering, supervision, management, organization, attainment. We have, when you have plenty of, or you can say required number of professionals with you, civil, electrical, mechanical, or whatever discipline you deal with, or your contractors or your subcontractors deal with, you can collect with them, you can move with them also. But we have joint ventures with these companies, the organizations, and they are our people as well. Our people are their people. You can say that way. So we have this category of people, this competency of people. This is our backup. They will involve on our jobs directly or indirectly, and they would supervise as well, design all attainments. So you can say it's a point of reliability. It is point of, though real reliability will come later on, but now we can start. We have this potential that can be measured, that can be viewed, and it's not fake, it's real one. So it's just reference, you can say, a kind of reference. If owner wishes, if engineer wishes I mean contractual wish or bid wish, if they are inclined to interview them or to know about something, then they can call post bid meetings of key personals and have some reference, some discussions, some conference on submitted bids in forms of how they are going to use this power for implementation of this bid through certain schedules, certain programs, certain question answer session. It's not personal interview, but it's interview of project, and even if personal involvement is requested, well, I don't think there's any problem in that. Ultimately, it is a responsibility of owner to make sure that work shall be done smoothly, successfully, and there shall be no major problems. That points we have to realize, we have to understand. So I say, intend to help public, avail benefits of best technical know-how and know-how regarding construction of RCC buildings, either directly or to owner of building or professional architects appointed by builder. Organization is small, medium, or whatever level, but we have these personal professionals, backup of engineering, supervision, management, attainment, and we are fully capable to augment further it now. We are fully capable to augment this strength. We have no restrictions according to requirement. What I'm saying is this: we can take this point into consideration here with help, with surety, and we can start, if required, we can augment the system to whatever requirement further to meet project needs. All disciplines pertinent supervising experts as and when required. Organization understands that it is in its professional, national and social responsibility. Organization is fully capable and it understands that it can meet all requirements. It can meet all requirements. It may be national requirement, professional requirement, social responsibility. Organization understands that it is in its professional, national and social responsibility to contemplate, analyze, consider to deliver best and fittest degree of works, production at economical and sustainable, ecological cost, forcing keeping site and surrounding locality tidy, safe in all respects. So it says, again I read, organization understands that its professional, national, social responsibility to contemplate, analyze, consider and reconsider, to contemplate, analyze, consider and reconsider, to deliver best and fittest degree of works, production at economical and sustainable ecological cost, forcing keeping site and surrounding locations tidy, safe in all respects and help to avoid inconvenience to public, and also that organization is committed not to work against environment and health requirements, which makes upon it incumbent to comply with rules regarding protection from construction related hazards. Organization is committed not to work against environment and health safety, which makes upon it incumbent to comply with rules regarding protection from construction related hazards. Organization says that we have no problems, we are well committed, we are well inclined, we are well responsible, we feel our responsibility to take care of health of people, health of public, health of our workers and health and also safety everywhere we can consider. We have to consider, we are bound to do that, and we have to respect quality of environment to an extent possible we can, which is in our capacity, and to comply with whatever rules are passed or work regarding protection from construction related hazards. Means we can understand what is job hazard analysis, assessment, and we have to respect that. We can say organization is committed not to allow any construction related debris or other wastes remain on sites or in vicinity, but to transport all these environment pollution related wastes to approved locations where adequate further care may be resorted to by responsible authorities. Organization understands that product and user expects best sustainable, economically, ecologically and within acceptable criteria, graded with quality controlled product. All such operations that can assist site work, that can assist, you can say, site work with minimum efforts and maximum benefits. Organization leader ensures that it understands. Organization leader ensures that it well understands requirements mandated by laws, regulations, contract documents, good industrial practices, honor architect and others. Internal issues are references to mandatory and advisory practice, national and international codes, prosecution requirements, labor controls and welfare, subcontractors, labor controls and welfare, subcontractors control, maintaining peace and harmony at residences, camps and at sites. External issues are site coordination with statutory and government authorities, appointed architects and owners representatives, as well as direct and indirect impact groups, which need be taken care of from time to time. Organization leader make it clear, make it sure, organization leader make sure that there should be no delay on conducting work supervision and work deliveries schedule. Which works in delayed shall mar site prosecution and impose on consequential delays on project completion, leading to imposing contract provided penalty clause based liquidated damages as well as limiting damages. Capping penalty is a criminal procedure terms, yet on many projects it is defined as such. Contract documents, this term is seen from different perspective. So this point we have to make it clear. We have to make it clear this point. Sorry everyone, just a little late, little problem. So I said that we have two returns here. One is 15, one is 16. And it is an external issue. That external issues are site coordination with statutory and government authorities, appointed architects and owners representatives, as well as direct and indirect impact groups, which need be taken care of from time to time. Organization project completion, leading to imposing contract provided penalty clause, which is based, legally based, contractually based, liquidated damages, LD we call it, as well as limiting damages capping. Limiting damages capping, though it is a kind of penalty, it's a kind of penalty. It is a criminal procedure, but in contract terms on many projects this term has been used, and it doesn't make a difference as far as liquidated damages is defined, which, just for your information, defined per day of delay until extension is granted, extension of contract is granted, and it does not exceed more than 10% of contract price in general on civil construction projects. It may be sometimes 15% on supplies or on erection projects, but on civil construction it is 10% maximum, not more than. And that's the organization. Organization considers that every contract project should provide at least a minimum percentage of profit. Organization considers that every contract project should provide at least a minimum percentage of profit to cover business growth requirements and also to induct input for future progression in various directions. Organization 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 does not believe in considerable losses to be received on projects. That's very important point. Organization does not believe in considerable losses to be received on projects. These 2 points are there. That is written 17 and 18. It's 17 and 18. Organization considers that every contract project should provide at least a minimum percentage of profit for covering business growth requirements and also to induct input for future progression in various directions. Organization does not believe in considerable losses to be received on projects. Being a contracting organization, we contemplate at least a minimum of calculated profit in a given defined time on project. We expect a minimum level of profit, calculated profit in a given defined time on project. It says, being a contracting organization, we contemplate at least a minimum of calculated profit in a given defined time on project. We are a responsible management having a consistent and competent leadership. We are a responsible organization management having a consistent and competent leadership who intends to provide them a good expected profit, if not enormous, so that in stocks we remain important competitive. Of course, we are responsible people, responsible group, responsible organization, contractor. Having consistent and competent leadership for our growth, who intends to provide us a good expected profit, and if not enormous, only good, so that we can remain in stocks that is important and competitive. Our past history is an attractive one To an extent, percentage of profit is related to, as well as percentage of its growth is related to. Our past history is an attractive one. To an extent, percentage of profit is related to, as well as percentage of its growth is related to. We intend to integrate on existing list of stakeholders, many top profile investors who could add more power to this organization so that value on our share continuously rises. Well, I think we have explained today about AnnexSL clause organization, and we'll continue about this next time. Already it's 3 hours. We have gone through clause scope, clause 2 normative references, clause 3 terms and definitions, and now clause 4 context of organization that we have been going through, and we will just have a review later on. Now we have reached up to title scope considered by organization, and what we do next time will continue from this onwards. My attempt is to expressively define this, because just defining is not enough. It should be expressed. It should be clear expressed no, but express it clearly. Otherwise, there remains no meaning without any explicit expression on any or whatever issue. Now, I would take your leave, probably, because this topic, AnnexSL, cannot be haphazardly explained. It requires support from every aspect. It is like, you can say, a technique, structure. It is AnnexSL structure. It tells us how we have to organize our system, and until system is organized and every part of system is well defined, then nothing can move in right direction if we don't redefine and redefine and redefine and monitor and monitor and monitor and update. It's like, a kind of stress I am telling, repetition. This world is different. You can't simply say I have done it qualitatively. You have to prove it also. You have to prove it. And explain clearly based on my own understanding. Maybe you have better understanding, but because I want to share my views with you, that's my point here. And I can select okay, I'll take your leave now. Already 3 hours 10 minutes. You may say it's about is concerned. As mind works, you have to do that. And also you can say that I have to, in that case, this point, this add here, quality system. Now I think I can, it's already 6:45 something. I was interested in this, but I don't know why community is not interested. It seems no issue. Some people are interested, some are not interested. It works like that. I could move further also on this signals, but I think you should take rest. In engineering, in text, it's too long if you talk for 3 hours. And sometimes it happens good, sometimes doesn't happen good. So I think we should now close it. Again I say, we talked about quality, we talked about safety, health, we talked about, I did not include any major talk of COVID-19 in 2 days, because COVID-19, is working difficult in UK, in USA. It's working very difficult elsewhere also, and we have to see this impact too soon. This is now very old consideration, but quality is very important in our world now. So we have to take this point into our minds all time, that engineering does not mean if quality doesn't exist. Engineering means if quality exists, and if you not do that, then there is no meaning of engineering, because non-engineers can also do what we do. Simply, we always blame contractors, we never blame engineers, because it is engineers' fault. It's just fault that contractors do their will. It's engineers' fault. It's not contractors' fault. Contractors is a businessman. That person is not professional contractors. They have only one focus, just to make more and more until they